What is going on, all you lovely people out there? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michael Hora, and this is a lovely penguin, and today we are doing the set breakdown of Stray Kids' Thunderous music video. It was super cool. I believe it was shot on location too, if I'm not wrong. I think they actually shot it at the same location as August D, or better known as Suga from BTS's song Déchire-toi. I always mess it up. Déchire-toi. You know that song. And I believe forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, but it was the Daejeonjeon Park that they filmed it at. It's a pretty notorious set over in Korea where they have a lot of traditional buildings and stuff, and they filmed a lot of different things there. So it definitely makes for a very cool music video. So let's dive right on in. Yo, first of all, this transition that they did from that intro animation into our guy here standing there, and it just kind of dissolves into the real life footage, is so sick. So sick. Plus I got the blue fire floating around. It definitely adds for a really cool thing. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with set dressing or anything. I just thought it was really cool, so I wanted to point it out. But first shot that we really get to see, we get to see the guys. They're standing around in one of the areas in that park that I was talking about. I'm not going to keep saying the name because I'm going to just keep butchering it over and over again. But already all the wood and stuff that is there, that's definitely has been there prior. But for this shot alone, what they did is they put in those dividers or separators, those kind of folding dividers right there. Plus they put some lights behind them. And then on top of it, they just took some spray paint and they wrote some stuff on there. Can't really tell what they wrote on there. It definitely looks like they wrote Stray Kids on this one, or they did their logo, the SK thing. Yeah, they did the SK for the Stray Kids over here. But for the most part, it's a relatively simple set pieces all around. And then they added in these blue flames in post. But even here, they just added in a lamp, you know, just kind of adds to the lighting of the scene because they're shooting at night and they need it to be lit up just a bit. But it's a pretty simple setup, and then just a couple lights behind those dividers. And it's a quick shot, but it's, you know, it looks really good. Then again, we drop into another angle. It looks like they're still in the same kind of area of the park that they're shooting in. Again, they just added in a couple of these dividers here and there. They have awesome lighting and stuff that's going on. This location is super cool. First off, it's got the historical aspects of Korean architecture, as well as the really cool contrast of the past versus the future, if you would. And these guys get to represent the future because they're all dressed very modern, very cool. Obviously, too, they're all wearing red and stuff, too, which, I don't know. I think that kind of goes with the aesthetic of the video as well. But, yeah, it's also kind of cool. If you look at the extras that are walking around in the shot, they're all dressed more appropriately for the set. They're a little bit more time appropriate, I guess you would say. So they're more of a period piece, while the guys are all dressed modernly. And honestly, I think that contrast really makes for a really cool video. Then they do a couple of these close-ups here and there, which, again, they're still in the park. They brought in a couple of different vehicles with them. They had that ATV. They have the red car. I see that they got a gas pump back here as well. I'm wondering if that was on set already or if they brought that in, because you can rent those from prop houses. And, you know, they're not that bad in terms of pricing and stuff. But for a lot of these videos, especially in the K-pop world, they really are not afraid to throw down some money. So I wouldn't be surprised if they rented it out. But yeah, it's another pretty interesting shot. Here's a little bit more of a wide shot where you can actually see that ATV there, and then you get to see the red car. They have a signage up for gas, so I'm imagining they did end up bringing that for the set decking. I don't actually know where that gas pump is. It might actually be right behind him there. But yeah, it's interesting too because they weren't really afraid to hide that there are some modern parts of things going on, like this street lamp here as well. And then actually you can kind of see there's like it looks like there might have been like an umbrella that's kind of folded up here like it's a restaurant or something over there. But yeah, I mean, when you're shooting on location like this, you don't have to bring all that many things. But regardless, they do make some pretty amazing shots with this set. The set is so beautiful. Like I can't get enough of it. I mean, I saw it in that. I saw it in the show Kingdom, and it blows me away every time I see it. Now here, another beautiful location, if you would. I guess it's like the main gate of the palace or the park or whatever you want to call it, whatever you're shooting as. And then all they really did, besides having these fires and stuff, which also is another thing that I'm wondering if that is part of the actual location, if that's something that they have, because that would be something they'd have in the past. But they definitely added in these huge banners here, plus the color drapes, the curtains that are coming off the bottom there as well. You can kind of see them separating with the wind blowing through. And then on top of it too, another thing you probably aren't thinking about, but they have a smoke machine. Really simple. That's how they're getting that fog effect going on. But yeah, I mean, with historical locations and stuff, like, I always love it. Plus, when you're actually shooting on a location like this, it just makes dressing it like really easy. And here is another shot. Again, this is another really cool one. From my understanding, I believe at this location they keep those historical costumes there so that you can actually wear them. You can even rent them out. Actually, I will say this. I was watching some guys on Twitch, and they actually went to this location, and you can actually rent out costumes to wear while you're walking around the place. So I imagine these costumes were actually all already at the location. Plus, I imagine these staffs or spears, if you would, are probably props that they have on standby because they go with the location. In terms of these big circles that they got going on here, they're not exactly a hard build. I will say they did a really good job of sealing any different joints and stuff. Because they are so big, you're going to have to take a few different panels and put them together, cut them to size, and then also make a nice border around it as well. Because there's certain spots where you can actually see the edge bit. So it looks like gigantic coins or discs, if you would, of white or black. And yeah, I mean, in order to seal those cracks, you would just put some sort of joint compound in between the cracks. You sand it down and it looks flat, it looks clean, and then you just throw some paint over the top, and bada boom, bada bing, you got these two big discs that look great. I will say though, those would be an absolute nightmare to transport because they look gigantic. And then on the back side of it, they would have, it looks like there'd probably be two different jacks right there, and sandbags holding them there so that they won't fall either forward or backwards as well. And jacks are just two pieces of wood that would essentially make like an L shape, and then have another piece of wood in between, or I'll put it in the back side here, in between it, so that the base would go flat on the floor, and then the top side you'd screw it into the back side of those I'm just gonna call them discs, and it'll hold it in place, so it won't actually fall down. Because a big thing, especially on an outdoor shoot like this, is that there's gonna be wind, and those things, as big as they are, like if a good gust of wind comes through, like they're gonna fly away, or they're gonna fall over, or they could hurt somebody. So I'm sure that they sandbag those down a lot just to make sure that those things are going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I wouldn't even be surprised too if they have some lines going off the back as well, tying it to the building. God forbid a gust comes from behind and it'll blow it away from them as well, just to make sure things are absolutely safe. We get to see them again at the same location, but now it's nighttime. Plus, they got a bunch of background actors as well, all in different traditional Korean outfits. They have different Korean instruments, like those drums. I'm sure they actually have names for them as well, but those are most likely authentic Korean bits of culture right there, historical culture. And then on top of it too, they have like the ribbon dancers as well, and then eventually you're gonna see that they also have like a dragon costume coming through as well, which is really cool. but it's a little bit more like the festival type of stuff, like a celebration, and these guys are just dancing it out in the middle here, just being nuts. Now this shot is also an interesting one. I feel like I didn't even notice it during it while I'm watching it, but they also did this on location too. They just made it look like a little office, but you can tell from those wood slats in the background and how spaced out they are that they're probably just inside one of the structures that they were in outside of before. But they just took a bunch of papers and stuff and tacked them onto the wall, most likely with just some sort of tape, like a double-sided tape or something like that, something that's not going to damage when they pull it all off. And yeah, and then they added in the speakers, the table, the lamp. All those things are rentable as well, and it just makes it look a little bit more like an office and less like they're back in that historical time period that this location is showing. Oh, I didn't even notice. I actually also have those speakers there too. Another thing that, honestly, they might just have on standby, considering they are musicians and stuff, and they make music on the regular. So it wouldn't be surprised if they already had those and they just brought them themselves. However, they also are things you can rent as well, just because pretty much you can rent anything from a prop house. It just, you got to find a prop house that has it, so pretty cool little setup. And it's nice too because it definitely pulls you away from the rest of the video and kind of shows that there's a difference happening right here. And here we go, we get another awesome interior shot as well of this sick inside of the building here. I believe this would be like the palace, like main throne room or something like that. And already most of it would be set up there. It's all set, it's all ready to go. However, they definitely decided to fill the space as well. So you'll see that they got lamps over here. They got these tables on wheels and stuff with a couple of random things on top. And it's more just to, like I said, it's to fill the space. It kind of adds to the modern inside of the historical, if you would. And it kind of contrasts pretty hard with the background, which I don't know exactly what they're going for there, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's also not very distracting either, because they're doing so much as well that the focus really falls in on the main people in the shot. But the lighting's really cool. They got the smoke going again in the background, very lightly, not too heavy, just to give it a little bit of ambiance as well. It helps with the light too, where you get to see the rays coming through this back piece here. And yeah, it's when you're shooting on location, it's not very hard. It's just a lot of, they brought a couple props with them, Oh shoot, actually I didn't even notice, but they actually had multiple of these cars. A couple of red cars there, if you would. Again, those are things you can rent from the prop houses. You can actually rent out. They have like older cars, they have newer cars, all these different ones that they just have ready to go if you need them. Also, another thing that I didn't mention in some of the previous videos too is that, especially with cars, sometimes it's just like if people have them on staff, anybody who's working on the video, if they have a car that sometimes the producers will just give you a bump to use the car in the video, a pay bump, just to have your vehicle be in the shots and stuff. These cars, however, are a little bit nicer, and they're also 3 different red cars, and especially these two are pretty much, I'm pretty sure they're the same type of red car. This one's a little bit different. So I imagine they probably rented these. It would be kind of hard to believe that multiple people would have the same exact car. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, still, it definitely adds to the aesthetic where it's like still red and kind of goes with the aesthetic of the red and black for the video. And, yeah, very much contrast with the background here with this building that they have. And then also, this is just another shot kind of a little bit further down the street from where they were just a second ago. But it just kind of goes to show how cool this location is and how well it's set up. I really hope one day I can go to this location. I think it looks so cool, and I would love to explore it and see it in person, I think it would be really cool to be there and check it out. But yeah, you got the extras in the background. They're all wearing their traditional stuff. But it's also funny too, because look, you got a fire hydrant here, and then you also have this street lamp. which I think are just there. I think that's where they normally are. I would be kind of surprised if they put in this like metallic looking uh fire hydrant. There you go. Jeez Louise. I kept wanting to say fire extinguisher, but it's a fire hydrant. And before we're done, real quick, I just wanted to point out what I was talking about when I said those dragons earlier. Maybe they're not dragons. I'm not really sure exactly what kind of creatures these are, but now that I'm seeing them freeze framed, so now that I'm seeing them freeze framed, they definitely don't really look like dragons. So I don't know exactly what kind of creatures those are. So if you do know, let me know. But they're kind of similar to, I guess it would be the Japanese dragons that they have, that kind of 2 people or 3 people will be in a costume similar to this, but it would look like a dragon. So, I don't know. If somebody can tell me what that is, that would be awesome. But, yeah, that's going to be it for this video. They kind of just jump back and forth from the same different set pieces there. And like I said, for the most part, it's a lot of different props added to a location shoot, but dude, they do such a good job on this video. It comes out very cool, and like I said, they did a couple of little animations here and there that really adds to the video. It definitely makes things a little bit more crazy, a little more chaotic, if you would, and it makes it louder, kind of what they're going for, that thunderous effect, if you would. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for me here. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you got something out of it. And if you guys would be ever so kind, please sub to the channel. Help us keep growing. And then if you would, I got a bunch of different social medias and stuff going on in the description down below. Feel free to follow those and be a part of those. We also have a Discord, so if you guys want to come hang out with me there, I do hang out there sometimes. We even are going to start trying to watch a few movies in our movie channel there. Also, you can follow me on Twitch as well if you would. It's a lovely penguin. We hang out there all the time. I'm streaming pretty regularly, and we have a really good time and have a little bit of a silly time too. So even if you're not really into gaming, there's going to be something there for you, because I like to be entertaining. I like to make sure people are having fun. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for subbing to the channel. I love you. Stay aggressively positive and have a fantastic rest of your week. And yeah, goodbye.